Now, no more guessing, because we're gonna let you in a secret that today here we have a voice of many, 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 many animation films and characters. Among them, you might know this one, I don't know, Pokemon? Whereas Sarah Natochenny is here with us. Sarah, come on stage. And she'll be joined in conversation by a regular Zegger and the regular Georgian visitor, Vogue's 73 Questions author and the voice that you all know, Joe Sabia. Joe.
Millennials, oh my God, it's very loud.
Jeez, Gen Z is rolling their eyes right now.
I know, the kids are like, wow, these losers. Do you want some water?
Wait, yeah, I'll take some water.
Are you thirsty? Just flip your cup. Flip your cup. Flip your cup. You're okay.
Thank you. It's great to be back. It's been 4 years for me since being on this stage. It was a lot smaller with fewer people, so now I'm a little intimidated because ZEG has become such a bigger thing. And as a testament to the prestige of ZEG, we've finally been able to get Sarah Natochenny here, which is incredible. Sarah is an incredible actor, voice actor, and a friend who I've known for a long time now. And I think it was a couple of years ago where we realized, it wasn't a couple of years ago, but I've been doing 73 Questions since 2014. You've been doing it for how long?
I've been doing this 17 years.
17 years,
yeah,
and I think there was
since 2006.
2006, age 19, I believe?
Yes, I booked it at 18.
18.
Yeah.
I think there was a moment where we both realized, wait, like we're both like doing voice acting in very different ways. But what Sarah does is, other than also on camera too.
Yes.
It's not just voice acting, but with voice acting, she's most known for Pokemon. And some stats on Pokemon. First of all, let's raise your hand if you are aware of Pokemon. Now, keep your hands up if you are a fan of Pokemon.
Okay, this is
now,
good.
keep your hands up if you are really, really a fan of Pokemon. And we have
one.
Otto right here, who is the only one who is a diehard fan.
Diehard fan.
All right,
There's
so
always one.
Pokemon's been going on for 25 years. All the episodes start in Japan, and then they are dubbed in other languages, which we'll get to.
Yes.
What else do I have? It's the highest grossing IP in the world, which I didn't realize until today.
It's wild.
Sarah, you've done 102 episodes of voicing characters.
What? No, like over 800.
802, did I say
800, you said 100.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant, I meant 802.
Imagine.
And how many Pokemon are there in general?
Like 1,000 something.
1,000?
1,000 something.
There's 1,000 something.
You know, Otto? 150, he's a purist.
I think there are more Pokemon than that, possibly.
No, we've added a few. There are a few
Sarah,
more
you
now.
do 21 voices in
Yes.
Pokemon, but you're most known for a character, Ash Ketchum,
Yes.
who is trying to collect Pokemon. So can you please explain who Ash Ketchum is and why he cares so much about trying to catch all these Pokemon?
He really does. So Ash Ketchum is a very tenacious, very kind 10-year-old boy who has been 10 years old for 25 years, and I can go into why I think that is. And he is a role model to children and adults alike. I go to a lot of conventions and I meet babies all the way to the grandmas and grandpas of the world, and they all love Pokemon. I meet like people in their 60s and 70s whose kids grew up on it, and the kids are, my age. And their kids have left the house and they're like, oh no, I'm still a fan of it. So yeah, it's an incredible piece of IP.
Have you kind of fallen in love more with your character over the years?
Yeah.
What is the relationship you have with portraying a character this many years?
So let's see, there are a lot of similarities, but when I booked Pokemon, when I booked Ash Ketchum, I was like, there must be a reason why I'm playing this hero, this like tenacious, go-getter, motivated kid. And then I kept booking other cartoons, which the protagonists in all these cartoons. And I had suffered with depression, and I kind of didn't want to leave the house for a long time. And when you're an actor, you get booked on roles that have something that that you're similar to in some way, like you have the essence of that character naturally in you. So by playing Ash and these other protagonists, I kind of found myself and found who I am, and it's this adventurous traveling person who gets on planes for how long? 15 hours to get here?
Yeah.
Something like that?
No middle seat?
No middle seat. No, I picked my seat. You didn't pick your seat.
I picked it till the last minute because you reminded me to.
Yes. You still sat in the middle, though.
I did.
You did. He's a martyr.
Next to a woman with a small baby that I had to take care of.
Yeah, he really did.
With 73 questions, this began because it was asked, what do you want to do with Sarah Jessica Parker? I said I would ask her a bunch of questions. For those who haven't seen the series, the camera is me, and it's my voice. And I go through her home and I ask her a bunch of questions. Now this IP, as they say in the biz, was not created until we made a second episode, until we made a third, and then it's like a thing. For you, you're joining the series when it's already a really big thing.
Yeah.
So what is that like to jump onto something that's massive? The pressure, the expectations?
Oh, yeah. So it was my very first voice acting job. I'd never done any voice acting before. I studied acting at Lee Strasberg. I was a rhythmic gymnast before that. I'll get into the winning stuff. I have a lot in common with Ash Ketchum. I'm just going to keep saying that without actually explaining it. And stepping into something that large, it just felt surreal. It felt outside of me. I was like, why me? Of all people, I've never done this before. I'd never dubbed before. I got the audition, and I had one of those like at-a-glance calendars that you physically write onto, and you have to flip the page every week. It was on a Monday, and I forgot to flip the page. That's the first thing I have in common with Ash Ketchum. He was late to get his very first Pokemon. I forgot that I had the audition, and I show up and unprepared. I had to practice. I had to like sound like my predecessor. And I'd watched the show. Thankfully, I was a fan of the show. I was 10 years old when it came out. So I get to the audition, and I'm like stumbling through it. They show me a piece of paper with a script and a TV in front of me. I'm like, what the hell is this? What do you, I'm supposed to look in two places at once? What are you talking about? But I did it. They stayed with me for like half an hour. And at that point, I had heard from teachers, listen, if you're auditioning and they stay with you for half an hour, that's a good sign that they like you and they want to see how you work and if you're directable and all that. And I left the audition crying, thinking, my God, you really showed up to the biggest audition of your life without having prepared. Good job. And then I got the job.
And it worked out?
It worked out.
And when you found out, how'd you react?
I was shocked. I was really shocked. Like, why me? Why me? It was very narcissistic. Why me?
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got to keep the job. Once you get a job, congratulations, great. It's very possible you will not keep it. So until the show went on the air in September of 2006, I didn't have a job. I kept going in to do sessions and performing this character, and they're like, go higher, go lower, do this, do that. And I'm like, they hate me, I'm never gonna keep this. And, it aired. I got the job.
It worked out very well for you.
It worked out, yeah, it's all right, not bad.
Now, I didn't realize how fascinating the process of what you do is until we saw you in action. Mm-hmm. Now, a few years ago, I had a company job at the company that owns Vogue, and they have a brand called Vanity Fair. And Vanity Fair is all about trying to get into the craft of filmmaking. So the way that you do this, obviously, is that you're not on a set, you're not with the animators drawing, you're not even there in Japan when they're making the show. So tell us how it gets to you, and then we'll show a clip to kind of show you in action.
My job is very lonely. I go into a dark booth, and there's a director on the other side of the glass and an engineer sitting there typing. And I do my lines and I go home. I work in back, I see no smiles. I didn't know I had fans until I started doing conventions in earnest in 2021. So I never met anyone like Otto until that point. I did maybe 10 conventions over my entire career, but it was discouraged and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we should play that clip.
Let's play the clip.
Yeah, you wanna see how I work?
Yeah, let's show.
Okay. Next, we watch the scene in Japanese. Let's take a look. I was so blonde.
後海に潜ったらさ、今まで見たこともないポケモンたちがもういっぱいで。
So a lot of stuff is happening in this scene. He's running, he's out of breath, he's tripping over Lytton, and then he runs to his mom all excited and huffing, and he's always huffing. He's always excited and huffing. So I want to do justice to that just with my voice. So what I'm looking for when I see this in Japanese is the mouth flap, where he moves his mouth, where he opens his mouth really wide, where he has like a clenched kind of teeth thing, and that'll indicate to me where to put all the words on the page. So first we're going to do a whole run of the scene, and then we're going to go back and pick up all the parts where I messed up.
We are on line 45,
Okay.
02, 35, 04. It's going to be on there. You won't beat me. You are about to meet Lytton for the first time.
Oh.
So this is where you're gonna keep running through over there, as you saw in the scene. As soon as you get there, you're going to step on his tail, and then you'll go into sort of like the comic tumbles after that. So
Awesome.
let's give it a whirl.
There are 3 beeps that cue me in. I come in on the 4th beep.
So Sarah, I'm gonna give you 3 beeps for the first cue and then 1 beep for the following.
You won't beat me! Oh, sorry! So basically my eyes, if you notice, are darting back and forth from the page to the screen to make sure that I have the line right and that I have the flap right at the same time. So while I'm matching the flap and getting all the words out, I have to match the emotion that's happening on screen. More so than the original performance. So I'm looking at the animation and figuring out how to emote based on that. So I look at his eyes, I look at his eyebrows, I look at his mouth, I look at the way the animation is. If it's like in a really crazy scene and the background changes, then I know I have to get much bigger. So now that we've done 1 take of this long pass, my director is gonna give me some notes, and she'll have a lot of them.
Let's give that another pass. The line that I know it's a long set for you to sort of take on there, is going to.
Seems exhausting.
So exhausting, it's so hard. The 5 a.m. call times, I mean, awful.
Is Ash always running?
He's always running, he's always huffing. I can't believe I said that on, like, television. He's always huffing. Yeah, no. He's not. Sometimes he has really emotional moments. He's a good boy.
Do you have to be in the mood? Like, if he's sad?
No.
Does it help if you're in the mood if you're
Yes.
sad?
Yeah, no, so acting, you gotta get in the mood. Well, here's fun. I recently recorded the last episode. Can I spoil? Does everybody know what's happening? Does anybody not know what's about to happen in Pokemon? Do you care if I tell you? Does anybody care if I tell you?
This only applies to the
It's
fancy
okay if I
race
tell you?
fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otto, you're good? Okay. So, Ash Ketchum won the world championship.
What does that mean, Sarah?
He's been training and training and training for 25 years. And losing, he's won a few times, and I will get to those similarities later, I promise. He finally won. He finally won with his Pikachu. So this is a very big deal in the Pokemon world, but it also means that I no longer have a job for the moment. There is, a lot of talk about him coming back. I don't know. I hope so. I really do. I teared up watching that. It's very hard for me, but what was the question?
The question is, what job do you want to take here in Georgia now that you're
Yeah, anybody got a job
available? Cha-cha bartender.
Cha-cha bartender, yes, for all the journalists, for all the wonderful journalists in the audience who are
Yeah.
doing, serious work.
But we'll
yes.
get to that in a little bit.
We'll get to that.
The life after Ash is something I want to get to, but
Yeah.
but what I find fascinating is that this video of you just talking about how to do something gets 12 million views on YouTube.
It was so hard. That's hard. Describing how I do this was harder than actually doing it because it's so innate. I literally learned how to dub at my audition in half an hour. Some people take years, some people take half an hour. For some reason, I can do that. I can't do math to save my life. So that was a very difficult thing to do, and I thought it would be boring. But Joe Sabia is a genius, and he's like, 12 million people are going to watch this. He literally said that.
There are others on the team who agreed, and thank God they were there to agree.
Yeah.
But what I find super fascinating, what not a lot of people realize, is that you may be saying to yourselves, okay, if Sarah's representing English, what about all the other languages? Because Pokemon's not just going to America or English-speaking countries.
Right.
So what I found fascinating is that there's other Ash Ketchums all around the world. What's going on there?
ashes of the world. So some are played by men, some are played by women. I think it really depends on what different cultures want to hear. I'm sure they've done a lot of market research. I was not a part of that, so I can't really speak to it with any level of integrity.
But hold on, there are women, there are men.
There are women, there are men.
So how does that work? Like, does a country just not have any preference? Or?
I guess France just wants a deeper voice. They want a deeper voiced Ash. Yeah, no, in America we're pretty high up. India is a man, but he's very high. Yeah, it just depends on what they find culturally acceptable in cartoons, in children's cartoons.
Do you guys have like supra dinners together and you toast and?
No, that's my idea, and I want that to happen. So I want to meet all the Ashes of the world and bring them all together
Yes.
in Georgia at ZEG next year.
Next year. Get
Ashes
ready.
of the world, and we'll talk about international affairs and world peace via Pokemon.
In the Ash Ketchum voice.
In all our voices.
That sounds like hell.
No, it sounds great to me. Dare you?
So there's been I think only one time, because with 73 questions it's my actual voice. I'm the camera, but you are me, because this isn't about me in the interview series.
Right.
But the creepiest thing that ever happened was, well, not creepy, it was strange. I was at a clothing store buying some clothes, and this guy behind the desk just goes, "Your voice is kind of familiar." And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Was he like,
Your voice is kind of familiar.
Well, no, but he just kind of like, I think maybe because he had just seen a video,
yeah.
he's like, no, I think it's something like, is it like fashion related? I go, 73 questions. He goes, oh my God, that's you. And that's the only time it ever happened in my life. And guess what? He was Georgian. I swear to God, it must have been some cosmic.
They love you.
He must have sixth sense like detected me. But with you, it's not like you can just go around in your normal voice and people identify you
Very
as
rarely.
Ash. What do you do to maybe?
to cope with not being recognized?
Well, trust me. I mean, that one time like redeemed my whole
I
life.
know, it's
purpose.
life-changing.
But for you tend to use the voice as a way. And if they don't recognize you because you are on the internet, you have your own channel. She's a creator.
Because of him.
But for those who don't recognize you, do you use the voice in ways for fans to kind of let them know who you are?
Sometimes. I've actually never like been on the subway and looked at a child and done the voice. But I have had a crying child next to me, and I looked at the parent and I'm like, can I help you? And they're like, mm. And I'm like, do you like Pokemon? And he's like, I'm like, I'll do the voice later, maybe.
Do the voice. Who wants to hear the voice? Yes!
I'm like, Pikachu, Thunderbolt now! And I wanted to be quiet about it, because it's on the subway. I don't want to make a hubbub. So he like looks up at me. He's like, So yeah, I'm a good child tamer. Bring me your children. I will tame them.
Yes. There was a moment in the airport when we were getting into, we had to leave Paris. We were on the same flight. It was a very upsetting scene. People were very stressed out.
Very stressed.
And these two Canadians in front of us were there. The guy was probably, 30, 35. And when I introduced and said who you were, he just became a child.
Yes. Oh my God.
He was just like, wait, what? Is this something that you've gotten used to over time? What is it? What does it say? Is it inspiring? Is it creepy?
Not at all. Yeah. Oh no, it's definitely not creepy. To know that it's the power that's inside. I'm quoting the theme song here. I have a power inside that is not apparent, that I can pull out at any moment at my discretion and bring joy to someone like that. And I can die happy now. I don't know what else I need. I should probably do other things in my life post-Ash, but knowing that I can do that, I'm like, okay, baseline, I've achieved something. To be able to sit here and snap my fingers and put a smile on that kid's face, I cry when this happens. I cry a lot. I almost cried just now. I'm gonna cry again. Yeah. It's amazing. It's the best.
I also think that it gets so interesting when you realize that you do a voice beyond Ash. As mentioned, 21 different voices on the show.
Mm-hmm. And his mom.
As his mom
and
as
his
well.
Mom. And his mom. So I play a bunch of Pokemon, 21 Pokemon, and I play his mom, and then I play a couple of trainers that like show up every once in a while.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
his mom and Ash are the main constants.
Now, did the other characters have voices before you got there as well? Or did you just kind of look at the characters and be like, this voice should sound like this for this character?
Some are older Pokemon, so they did have voices, and some are newer Pokemon that I got to, like Baneri is a new Pokemon that I got to create, and it's my favorite one to do now.
And you just saw what he looks like, you knew what he looked like, and you just did the voice, like spontaneously.
Yeah, and my director and I would sit there and kind of come up with it. And some of them get auditioned, but I don't think Baneri was an audition. I think they just were like, just give it a try. I was like, okay, Baneri, blah, 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 blah. And then it was, yeah. What a weird thing to do.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It's a very, very strange thing.
Yeah.
But that's actually a perfect segue into another experiment that we did with you at Vanity Fair. While Sarah was there doing that video, we asked if we can show you a bunch of completely made up characters and then on the spot, just do a voice. Right? So we're gonna show you a clip of what happened when Sarah did that. I don't even know where these monsters or characters came from. Maybe it was like within. Or DALL-E 2 or AI.
No,
but let's bring up the second clip.
These are human-made.
If you maybe go like a minute into the second clip, we can see what this looks like.
You got like a thing in there, you know. I did not steal her homework. I did not tip over the lunch tray. I did not trip the teacher, and I definitely didn't put a worm in that sandwich. I'm the best little vampire boy that ever lived. I'm a good vampire boy.
Oh, God. Okay. She's mad. Okay, hang on. Well, let's break this one down a little bit here. This is a witch. She's on a broom. Her favorite color is obviously purple, but she has these really bad stockings that don't match the outfit, quite frankly.
You could give her a really, really witchy voice.
But you could also, I mean, she doesn't always have that face. Sometimes she has a different face.
Sometimes her face is really worried. Sometimes she's worried for the children she put in her cauldron because she maybe left them in there too long. And when you leave children in the cauldron too long, they turn into rats.
Right? I think that's true.
Oh. Aren't you cute? So this is a photographer monkey person, and she's got these fabulous glasses, and this fabulous lipstick, and this fabulous bow, and a very old camera. She's a fabulous photographer. She's Annie Leibovitz. She is working at Condé Nast. She's definitely here on retainer. She's always available, except not. Sometimes she's like, I'm sorry, I can't come in today. And you guys are just like, that's fine, ma'am. That'll just take your time, do whatever you need to do. She could be older. She could be older. She could be a grandma because she has these lines on her lips, and she does wear glasses, which I wear glasses, but that does, she could be an older woman who, lives in Williamsburg with all the young kids. She's very active. She definitely works out and goes hiking, and, she never had children, God no. She's fab. She's my friend.
Okay, we'll stop there.
Okay, so this one's gonna get a real...
All right, well, you have to watch the rest, clearly.
Watch it later.
Yeah, that was good.
That's fun. Yeah. Those are pretty good. Going back and like, well, it's pretty good. It's all right. It's not bad.
What is going on there, though? By the way, I can assure you that 30% of the Condé Nast employees look like that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, not
Oh, no,
not all.
I know. You never let me into that office, actually. You were going to give me a tour.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I clearly don't remember that.
You didn't.
But let's get back to the question at
Okay,
hand.
fine.
What does that say about voice actors or anyone when we see a visual, a character, and for some reason we all just go to a place. It's an instinctive feeling to just give a voice that matches what someone or something looks like? What is that? What's going on in your head as you're doing this?
No, the number one thing is don't be scared. Don't be scared. Like, you have to have a certain level of fearlessness. You can't worry about looking like a clown, because that's what we're here to do. I'm here at ZEG as the clown of ZEG. Like, everybody else is a serious journalist and stuff, and you know, I've had that moment in my career as a film editor. I worked for the news and I edited horrible atrocities and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think I was put here to bring joy to people, and you can't do that if you're scared. So that's the number one thing I'm thinking of. And then I don't know, Joe. I just look at it and I do it.
So when you see like older folks who look like that librarian at Condé Nast, do you just, in your head, everyone you see, you just
no,
kind of do that voice out
I'm not
loud?
that level of like, I haven't lost my mind.
Okay.
Yet. But one day.
I think it's interesting what you just said about, I mean, this conference has had a lot of serious discussions on stuff, and here we are talking about voice acting. I like to believe that every media diet needs to have some dessert, some vegetables, which is the serious stuff, and some dessert, because they go hand in hand. But that doesn't mean that what we do is not inspiring to people.
Right.
With 73 Questions, it's been crazy that the series beyond just these celebrities, there's thousands of people around the world doing this themselves as a way to express who they are, the truth behind who they are. It's nonprofits, it's educators, it's people that can take this thing from the internet and then use it for good. The weirdest thing was seeing Boris Johnson do 73 Questions. He lost the election. I was very happy, but at the same time, really offended that
really
my
offensive.
73 Questions wouldn't help him win.
Lead him to the.
So there's a little bit of a conflict there. But can you speak to, because you brought up it before, inspiration?
Yes.
Like, how moving is it to see what you and your voice for this character has done when you see so many of them come up to you at conventions?
Yeah. I demand excellence from young people. I was raised that way. So when people, anybody who's standing in line for an hour plus to come meet me, I'm like, what's going on here? Why are you here? What are you doing? How much time are you spending on this? Why are you here? And it occurs to me that they probably watch a lot of Pokemon, and they watch a lot of television, and they perhaps play a lot of video games. And I'm generalizing, but it's generally true. So I like to know older people, like over 20. I'm like, so what do you do now? They're like, oh, I grew up on Pokemon. I'm like, okay, but what became of you if you're watching so much Pokemon? And they're usually architects or doctors, or they're succeeding, they're surviving. So my parents never let me watch TV, and look what I became. So I've learned that it's okay to be a super fan of something, especially when you're growing up. That wasn't the question, was it?
No, I think it was about inspiration.
Yeah,
but this is still
the
really
show inspires.
interesting.
Oh, so I went to Nickelodeon, to the Nickelodeon studios, and in case you don't know, they produce like some of the best cartoons for kids mostly. And I was taken around all the cubicles where all the animators and the storyboard artists work. Every single one of them had Post-its of all these Pokemon that they just practice on. Like this is people's number one thing to just like doodle, because there are so many and they're so well designed and they're fun to create and mess with. And yeah, so it inspires people who are working in this industry. It inspires people who are becoming doctors. I meet a lot of veterans, and Pokemon gets them through really tough stuff. And people who suffer from illness, it's got them. People with the pandemic, of course, people credit Pokemon with just being a wonderful escape. And Ash Ketchum, a great character to follow in his journey to becoming a world champion. He's not a Pokemon master yet, but becoming a world champion, finally winning that thing, So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's an inspiration.
It is.
It's nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we wanted to get to, because we want to leave enough time for questions and answers,
Yes.
because I promise is going to happen.
Okay.
But I think that given how every single talk so far has brought up AI, there's an interesting thing in this. AI is as ubiquitous as khachapuri at this conference.
Really nicely done there.
Yeah, that was
good.
Yeah, that was good. I did not write that down. Make sure you bring up the khachapuri
Made it
joke.
up.
Make sure you bring it up. But with AI, I think that there's an interesting thing going on here with voice acting, right?
Yeah.
The idea that an AI can possibly, a studio can take anyone like you as an actor, take your voice because they technically own the character of Ash Ketchum,
Yeah.
and then synthesize it and do whatever they want with it. What are your thoughts from the perspective of what the future looks like and how AI could be used?
So never sign a contract that says in perpetuity for use across all media. Synthesized, anything, just search the word synthetic in any contract you're asked to sign and see if it's in there. And if it's in there, keep reading. Don't sign it. Just don't sign it. There's an organization called NAVA, National Association of Voice Actors, and they actually have vocal variants is like a subgroup that deals with AI, and they have a rider that actors have been using and sending to their clients, people who want to hire them, being like, here you go, honey, we're not signing away our lives. In 2016 or 18, Apple, Microsoft, and Google actually hired people off the street, just random non-actor people, and paid them in $50 gift cards to bank their voices, $50. And they realized these people are not good. We can't use it. We got to hire real actors. So they hired real actors for $2,000 to $5,000, which is nothing compared to the career you could have had you not done that. These poor people. And they signed contracts in perpetuity. And so now Apple, Microsoft, Google can use their voices even when it gets really good and you can't tell the difference. Forever, and they can sell that bank to third-party apps. So those poor people, I don't know how they're going to deal with it, but don't sign those contracts.
Yikes. Any lawyers in the house? Superfan lawyers?
Superfan lawyer? Otto? Soon? One day?
And the lawyer, get that
Have we
legal.
inspired you?
Absolutely. No, but I had a friend reach out to me 2 weeks ago and said, you know, it would be really cool if we took your voice, Joe, and we put it in an AI so anyone can type their own questions and have you ask them whatever questions they want in a filter on like a TikTok or an Instagram. And I thought that was great until I realized all the horrific ways in which people can obviously, you know, mess with the series or whatnot.
Right.
But it's one thing for you for AI to take your voice and synthesize it.
Yeah.
But what about AI just generating new voices based on characters and not needing voice actors? What's missing if they do that?
Humanity. People are always going to work with people. I think the only thing that's, I'm careful saying this, industrial stuff, e-learning, phone prompts, that's called IVR. Things like that are going to be the first things to go. I think live action dubbing, so shows, dubbing is actually very new to Americans. It's been around for like 20 years or so because we import nothing and we export everything. So you guys have been dubbing and you're very good at it, I'm sure, but we haven't. So we're new at it and the rest of the world's kind of laughing at us. They're like, you're terrible at this. And we're like, we're trying, we're getting better. So I think anime is going to stick around because I think we have fans. And live action dubbing, it depends on the show. If it's something like Squid Game and it's huge, they're going to want actors. And if it's something that's not so huge, they're probably going to, But we can bank our voices. We're taking matters into our own hands. And SAG-AFTRA is on it. That's our union for actors. We're going to be able to bank our voices and license our likeness, our voices out to people, to clients who want to use them, and they can pay us for that, and we don't have to do anything, which it ain't bad, actually.
That's a good deal.
That's a pretty good deal. A pretty good deal.
What are your thoughts about massive celebrities who are known for being on camera are suddenly just stacked and loaded in animated movies and TV shows? What are your thoughts about that?
Kids don't care. First of all, kids don't care. Adults, we ask, like, do you care? They're like, yeah, it's fun to have, like, you know, Jeremy Renner voicing a monkey. That's all fine. It brings attention and it gives us even cooler jobs because we get to, you know, be in movies with Jeremy Renner. But yeah, those jobs are few and far between and they take a long time to get up to that level at this point because it's so stacked with celebrities. There's nothing we can do about it. It's okay. Just become the celebrity.
Well, you're on your way. You're already a celebrity in your own right. But now that Ash Ketchum is / will be gone, there is life after death. And the life that you're going to have after this particular death, it feels weird saying death, but
yeah, well, he's not dying, dude.
If you haven't seen Sarah's socials and video content. Expect a lot more from you, given that you have some more free time. But you are going all in as a creator, as a presence on the internet.
Yeah.
What are your plans looking ahead as you figure out a new path?
So I'm working on a vlog. I think YouTube, especially with these strikes, I think YouTube is gonna be a lot bigger than it already is. I find or how much YouTube are you watching versus television? No? No YouTube? YouTube, yes? No. Kids, YouTube, yeah? You guys are watching YouTube? You're not really watching TV.
Well, wait, raise your hand if...
Raise your hand if you're watching YouTube a lot.
Like every day you're watching YouTube.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go on YouTube. The cool thing about YouTube is you actually own your own material. So if I want to pull it, I can pull it. But otherwise, I can make residuals. People can keep watching my videos for the rest of my life. And that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. I don't know. I want to keep acting. Acting is my #1 love, so I'm going to keep doing that. I want to make a movie about a voice actor who's lost her job after 20 years in a more dramatic way than me. Mine's kind of boring. So that's my life for now, after death.
We were having an interesting conversation before about how there's an interesting thing here where when you do build your own brand, your own name, you're on camera more, you are Sarah and not Ash, you still have so much of an audience that's knowing you for Pokemon, which skews younger.
Yeah.
A lot of teens. It's Otto who's going to become a fan of you and your channel. But it's also older folks, millennials who grew up with it, or anyone who's in a situation where maybe they have a career transition and they want to see what you do after.
Yeah.
So you have two audiences here. How do you feel about
Great.
New audiences for yourself?
The more the merrier. Yeah, I'd love to expand my audience. I think it's a little limiting when it's just kids. I was born an adult. I'm an only child. I don't have kids of my own. I don't spend a lot of time around kids. So honestly, being a role model for children has been a bit of a stretch. And I'm trying really hard, and I'm telling them all, read books, and they're like, okay. So yeah, I'd like to expand into an audience that's more naturally attracted to my presence.
That's right, and you just won a Webby.
Yay!
A Webby.
A Webby,
For
guys.
those who don't know, it's the Oscars of the internet.
Yes, the Oscars of the internet.
And you posted a video called My Pokemon Journey.
Yeah.
Which beat out Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
What other celebrities?
Lupita Nyong'o, Jennifer Garner, The Muppets.
She beat all of them
Stephen
for a
Colbert.
Webby.
Yeah, that's it.
So you don't need to be a A-list Hollywood actor to win. Anyway. Let's do question and answer. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Sarah. Let's take it.
Wait.
Yeah, let's do
Before we
it.
question and answer, I gotta tell you the similarities. You guys wanna know the similarities? Okay, so Pokemon went on the air in 1997. That means if Ash is 10 years old and I was 10 years old, we were canonically born the same year. That's #1. #2, in 1999, he won the Orange League. That was an episode that aired in 1999. I should be very careful about that because there is no time in Pokemon, right? That aired in 1999. That same year, I won a bronze medal at the Junior Olympics. Fast forward to 2009. He wins, that year an episode airs, where he wins the Alola League. I won a Voice Arts Award. And then in 2023, he finally won the World Championship, and I scrambled real hard. I was like, I'm gonna win a claw toy this year, but alas, I campaigned and I won that Webby for my Pokemon journey. Thank you. Are we playing that or no?
Where you rip off your mask and reveal.
Are we playing it or no?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you wanna play
Yeah,
it?
so can you go up to the Pokemon Journey video? We're at the skip.
Does it look good?
You have to skip one.
We had a bit of a tech issue on that one. Is it nice?
Here's a quick look at my journey.
Oh, Christ.
There's the mask.
There's
that
the
you're
mask.
talking about.
This is the best $5 I ever spent. Let's see, is it bad? Does it stay like that? All messy?
Here,
It's no? Cancel.
let's do Q&A and then we can figure
and
that
then
out.
maybe
but
we'll figure it out. If
there's
not,
so many people who want to ask a question. So let's
I'm
just do
on
an honor
Instagram.
system. Kind of, you guys help us figure out who raised their hand first.
Sir.
I was handed the mic, so I'll start.
Hi.
So for my generation, Pokemon was Speed Racer. And I'm wondering what about Pokemon And the same thing for Speed Racer. I didn't realize it was dubbed. I had no idea it was Japanese when I was a kid. Like it was completely international and is dubbed in a gazillion languages. So what about Pokemon or Speed Racer is Japanese, if anything?
What about it is Japanese?
Yeah, or is it intentionally internationalized so that it can be, do they try to sanitize any, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
language and writing and things like that,
Yeah.
but aspects of the story conceptually, what remains that is Japanese and how much is that do they try to keep that out?
So interesting. So the only thing that remains is the animation. The voices almost all get changed. Pikachu is ubiquitous. So this is all over the world. Ikuo Otani, she plays Pikachu, and that doesn't change. Some of the Pokemon don't change, but if they say their own name and it's different in English, then we replace it with an English voice or a German voice, French voice, blah blah. The music changes. They have a composer in America who does the English version music. Other than that, it's the jokes. The jokes have to work in English, so it's not just a translation. James Carter Cathcart has been adapting. We translate it and then we adapt it to fit the American sense of humor, right, or the English sense of humor. So that all has to change, and it has to fit the flaps. So his assignment is insane. He has to literally make it all make sense and be funny and work and be comprehensible. And yeah, I did that job one time. I quit as soon as possible. I was on that job for one day, not on Pokemon, a different show, but it's hard. It's really hard. But Pokemon was like the gateway to anime for Americans. It was like the first really, really, really popular anime. But it's the style,
Why is anime getting so much bigger now? Even like more than ever, it feels like.
So on the fan side, it's just because people love it. I think it's the art. The art is it's just really good. I don't know, a lot. And there are many different genres in anime. Anime just basically means Japanese animation. And there are many different genres within that. But the fans just, I don't know, just taking America by storm. I don't know. On a business side, it's inexpensive. It's really inexpensive to bring it to America, and it's inexpensive to produce. Dubs we don't get paid well. So dubbing is, it's probably, I think it's the cheapest contract in the SAG-AFTRA contract, yeah. But that's okay, because we have so many fans and we've become really popular, and we go to conventions and a lot of people come to see us. They love us.
There are benefits.
There are benefits.
Benefits to the arrangement.
Benefits, yeah.
And the next benefit is from another question.
Another question, please. Who's got one? Go ahead.
Hi. Sorry. So, Sarah, I've been a big fan of Pokemon for a long time, since I've been 6 years old. And I've got a question for both of you. So, Sarah, how do you keep your voice consistent over 10 years, or 17 years, playing a 10-year-old boy the whole time? And Joe, do you ever get nervous when you're interviewing someone like Robert Downey Jr. or something?
I thought you were going to say, am I going to get nervous that I'm going to be doing this at 90 years old, sounding like a 90-year-old man? I really thought that's where it was going, but please.
No, I think you're allowed to progress in age.
God. What's your favorite Disney princess?
We love her. I didn't keep the voice consistent. If you listen to season 9 versus season 25, it's a little different. In the beginning, my assignment was to do basically an impression of my predecessor and match her as closely as I could. And over time, it became my own. I didn't do it on purpose. It just kind of morphed into my own, interpretation of Ash. So what you hear now is easier for me to do. It's in a very natural place in my voice. And it's like, I could just wake up and I could do it in my sleep at this point. He's part of me and I am part of him.
As far as a nervous question, it's not the person who would make me nervous, it's the circumstances around the shooting that can make me nervous. I think with this type of thing, this is work. They show up, it's work. They're promoting something. I'm here to make them look good, make the video be a good video. But sometimes, we only have an hour when we have to do this multiple times, and we only have an hour. It's like, oh, that's tight. You know, and then sometimes, one time we did it on live TV in like one go, on live national television for the Today Show.
Oh my God.
And then other times you have some talent that it's not that they're a person that makes you nervous, it's just that they may not be in the mood to be doing what they're doing, which is, I think about Liam Gallagher so much.
Yeah.
All the time I'm thinking about Liam Gallagher.
Oh my God, every day.
Because, well, we show up with him and it wasn't that it was nerve-wracking, it was nerve-wracking after because we did our one take thinking it was like a rehearsal and then he just walked away and disappeared. And it was the only episode with any celebrity where it was just one true take because he just got in a car and drove away. When you look back, you realize how dangerous it is. That if something went wrong in doing a 13-minute one-take video, like a camera dropped or a bird came and like hit him in the head, we wouldn't be able to have a second chance. And that's what makes me nervous thinking about things like that, looking back. But yeah.
That's so much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
I just sit there and I'm like, oh, I didn't like the way I did that, and we just redo it.
With filming, it's
harder?
It's harder.
It's harder.
There's a lot more variables that maybe AI will completely solve and remove me.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. Next question.
Next question.
We're going to get our superfan to ask a question.
Superfan should ask a question. Usually there's a huge line of children waiting to ask me questions.
Vacation for you.
I know.
Who has a question?
I'm just going to chill over here.
Come on, you have Ash Ketchum here.
What's a good question I can ask? What's my favorite Pokemon?
Oh, yeah.
This audience doesn't care. It's Pikachu. My favorite Pokemon is Pikachu.
I'm just like, what's your favorite thing about Georgia so far? This is Sarah's first time here.
The people, except the people who don't care about my favorite Pokemon. You don't like. I don't like you as much. But no, the people are so warm, so friendly, so open, so kind. Hi. This is yours. She doesn't care about Pokemon.
That's so upsetting. She comes to the front. She looks so excited.
Understood. That's okay. Sometimes a kid will come up to me and not want me to do the voice. So like, you know, a child will come up. I say, hey, what's your name? And then I do the voice for them. And very, very rarely, but one time a child was actually very upset with me. I think I ruined his childhood.
Maybe this is a new revenue stream for you, where you do the voice and people pay you to stop.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my God, Joe!
All right, one last question from Iki, and then we actually have the clip that's going to be able to work for you.
It's working?
So we'll end with the clip.
And then I'll make you cry.
Look at the timing. I'm so good with the timing.
I have
So
a quick
nice.
question about how can you change the content of the message you want to send to people using your voice?
How can I change it?
Right, like the same message, if we say in different voices.
Oh, like
How can
come
it be
up with a
perceived
phrase.
with people
Oh, well,
in the audience?
So I flat out steal the message from Pokemon, and it's actually very nice coming out of my mouth, and parents walk away saying, thank you. I tell them to be the very best like no one ever was, and I mean it because I want children to be the very best like no one ever was. I ask every child, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you into? What are your hobbies? And then I try to make them promise that they'll do that. That's my message. Every time.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's different coming from a cartoon character, you know, when a parent says, like, you need to read books, they're like, okay, Mom. And some kids, yeah, when I directly say you need to read books, they're like, why would you say that to me? But if I say be the very best like no one ever was, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I promised. I'm like, do you promise? And they're like, yeah, I promise.
Wow. All right. Well, we have the clip, so let's do that. Let's end with an emotional crescendo.
Here's a quick look at my journey as the voice of Ash Ketchum over the last 17 years. I started in 2006. I was a teenager. Pokemon was in its 9th season. That was before we documented everything. We had a lot of fun in the studio. And I had a lot of fun out of the studio.
I scared one? I think I scared one away.
I think you did.
That mask was the best money I ever spent. Then Pokemon Go came out, and everything seemed to blossom around me. I started doing interviews, and I won an award for Best Demo, which featured my work on the show. I made a video with Vanity Fair, and loved watching you all react to it.
Hi, I'm Sarah Natochenny. I'm a voice actor. You probably know me best as Ash Ketchum on Pokemon. I'm also Delia Ketchum and Staraptor and Mr. Evis.
The voice actor is a girl? How did you do that?
I started going to conventions, I met fans for the first time and realized what an impact our work has had on their lives. That's the best part. I became friends with our wonderful creators and totally dropped that Raichu. I got to do charity events, host a gala, and an episode of Pokemon inspired me to foster over 100 cats and kittens with my mom. And of course, I named my own cat Pikachu. And finally, I learned along with the rest of the world that our favorite Pokemon trainer, after 25 years of love and tenacity, won the World Championship title. As a lifelong fan, and as his English voice actor, I am so proud of him. I'm so honored to carry this legacy and inspire people to be the very best, like no one ever was, and to do it with love. Thank you all for being on this incredible journey. I'll cherish it for the rest of my life, and I hope to meet you all in person someday.
I still, every time I watch my own video that I edited by myself over the course of a single day, I still cry every time. I can't. And I was crying as I recorded that voiceover, and I played it for my mom. I had like 5 minutes, and I'm like, how do you feel about it? Can I post this? I sent it to 2 people, my mom and my publicist, and like, that was it. And she was like, you should re-record the voiceover, you're crying in it. And I'm like, I think you're wrong about that. And I'm really happy I left it in.
Now she gets to see you cry one more time. How beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Sarah Natochenny, the voice of Ash Ketchum and other voices as well.
Joe Sabia, 73 questions.
Thank you. All right.
My godfather.